So the guy telling the story says that he had gone over to his friend's house because they had planned a cookout. So as he's there, he says he really had to pee, and he saw that a lot of people were going to the yard to pee, but he didn't want to be rude. So he asked his friend if he can use his restroom, and of course his friend said yes. So he goes inside and goes to the restroom, but the door is locked because somebody is in there, and the mom noticed that he really had to go to the restroom. So she tells him, hey, why don't you go to the restroom upstairs? So he goes up to the second floor, and when he gets there, he could see his friend's son in the room watching or playing a game. So he says hi to him, and then he heads over to the restroom. So he does his business, and then he is at the sink washing his hands, and as he's doing that, he can see that somebody peeked into the restroom. So he thinks nothing of it, and he's about to walk out of the restroom when he sees the same person walk across and is headed towards like the second bedroom up there. And he didn't want to be rude because again, that this was his friend's family. So he's like, hey, how's it going? He says that the person never responded, so he's like, okay, I'm about to go outside. But he does say that he remembers the person had a hat, a red shirt on, and some khaki jeans. So he remembers that his friend's sister also lives there with her husband, and when he goes outside, he tells his friend, hey, you should invite your brother-in-law because he's up there and you know he can be hanging out with us. And his friend was like, no, my brother-in-law's not up there. They actually went to the grocery store before you got here, so they're not up there. So then he was like, well, then who's in the house? And his friend's like, well, my son's up there. And he's like, no, yeah, I saw him, but who else? And his friend's like, well, my mom and dad are in there. And he's like, oh, well, then I don't know. But he got so curious that he's like, let's go inside, because he wanted to see who was in there. So when they walk in, they see that the mom's in the kitchen and that the dad is in the living room. And at this point, the dad's paying attention to what they're saying, and he's like, wait, this is your dad? And he's trying to be like, this is not who I saw upstairs. And the dad is like, wait, what's wrong? What's going on? Who did you see up there? And before he could say anything, the dad was like, let me guess, a hat, a red shirt, and khaki pants. And by his facial reaction, they all realized that he was right. That is exactly who he saw. And his friend had a very different reaction where he's like, oh my god, like I can't believe you saw that. And he said his friend started crying. Not just crying, but like he thinks that his friend also thought that he was joking around. And then the dad says, well, I guess the good thing is my son is still around here. So after his friend finally calms down, he finally tells him why he was crying and why his dad said that. And he said that it was because a while back his brother took his own life, and when they found him, that is the exact same clothes he was wearing, and that's why they all reacted in that way. By the way, if you want to listen to this in Spanish, this is what the video will look like, and it's from Hablando de Nada. I would like to think that he was up there maybe watching over his brother's son, but what do you guys think?